After the events of Brotherhood, Ezio sort of looks back upon his life, right? So now he's sort of older, wiser, looks on his life and wonders, has he been living somebody else's life, right? Where is this all leading to? And so he embarks on this pilgrimage, goes to Masyaf, the legendary home of the assassins, in hopes of finding the secret library left behind by Altair. Gets to Masyaf, finds it literally filled with Templars. And, what sort of starts off as a pilgrimage turns into a race against time, as he discovers that there's something much more important hidden beneath Masyaf. And the way is locked, it's barred by this huge door which needs 5 keys to sort of open it. And he discovers that the keys are actually in Constantinople, so he races to Constantinople and tries to find the keys before the Templars can actually get their hands on it and open it first. This is the first time that Ezio is actually embarking on a quest. He's the instigator of it, right? He's being proactive, not reactive. And you do see that sort of the difference in his approach in the way he deals with everything in the game. Ezio arrives in Constantinople, finds it sort of in the middle of a sort of a political, almost a civil internal war, right? The Sultan is getting older. His 2 sons are sort of vying for power, and there's this, huge unstable situation going on there. So Ezio has to sort of navigate through this complex political sort of like turmoil to get the keys, needs to find out sort of like who his allies are, who his enemies are, and, ultimately he has to try to find who the Templar is that's sort of hidden and pulling the strings, the one that's behind all of this sort of turmoil. And, of course, he'll meet a lot of allies, a lot of enemies, and also a love interest.
Salve.
The reason why we actually decided to use the Altair characters, as I mentioned, Ezio is sort of on this inner quest, right? And he's the one that's actually playing as Altair. It's not Desmond. And the reason that this is possible is because the keys that they're actually finding, that Ezio is actually finding in Constantinople, are first civilization artifacts. And these artifacts are actually sort of the predecessors to the Animus, right? They record sort of key moments in somebody's life. In this case, Altair. So every time Ezio is sort of like going through one of these key moments and sort of like gaining perspective on Altair's life, it's also like reflecting back on his own life. And, ultimately, it's through Altair's life that Ezio will, make the ultimate decisions that he has to make in the game. Revelations is all about closing a lot of the doors that have been opened in, previous installments. After Revelations, the players should feel a sense of satisfaction in that a lot of the main questions that they had, like why all of this, why 3 games for Ezio, why everything is leading to this point, all of that stuff will be sort of clarified. It'll set up the fans for exactly what is to come. Like after this game, the fans will clearly know what's to come.